Have you ever dreamt of turning your back on corporate America so you can move your family to Italy and then restore a centuries-old stone house in a dazzling medieval city? Well, I turned that dream into reality. My name is Jody, and this is Restoring-Ostuni. Andiamo. Now we're on to the fun part. Now we get to take this beautiful house and turn it into our home. As I mentioned before, there's some mechanical things that we're going to be doing that's going to be encompass the whole house. And those things I'm probably not going to be addressing on this or the next episode where I'm talking about the things we're doing. But we already know that some of the boring things are going to be done, like fix a leaky roof and the electric, the heating, the air, and all of that stuff. I'll be addressing that in other episodes as we start, actually doing that work. But for this episode, I'm going to be really focusing on what we plan to do with each room. So we're going to start with the first floor. I'm going to ignore the stairway for right now. I may do a third one on my plans for both of the stairways, but those are going to be probably later on. Neither of those are going to be high priorities. I'm prioritizing all of the mechanical and then also the rooms that we're going to be living in. The hallways I can deal with at a later time, depending on how my budget is going. So today we're going to be focusing on the first floor, which is the living room, which I call living room one, both bedrooms, and then the two bathrooms that we have here. The first thing that I am planning to do is to get rid of the door going up the stairs. When you're on that wall, you see there's actually three doorways, and it just is really busy. And with those two doors as it is, it makes it really hard to look at this as a room versus I was lovingly calling it like an airplane runway, because when you're in that room, it feels like it's not as much of a room as like a big hallway or like a airline runway. So I really want to ensure that this looks like a room versus just somewhere you go to go somewhere else. So we are going to get rid of that door. It doesn't really have any historical look to it. And like I said, frankly, when you're in there, you're just either you're trying to get out of the way of that door. So that door is going to be leaving. Probably in phase two, I want to fix the doorway up so that it's more of looks just like instead of looking like a door, that it just looks like, oh, that's the casing that you have around that to go upstairs. I want it to look more like a traditional stairway. Moving over to the right is the door to the bathroom, which again, going to be doing a little bit of restoration on it. These are all original doors as well as the original hardware. They still have the keys, which I think is so cool. So we're going to be doing a little bit of restoration in there. I'll talk about what we're going to do in the old kitchen slash bathroom in its piece, but going to be doing a little bit of restoration. There's also a cabinet right there that I really am not sure. Right now it looks like the boiler is in it. Not really sure what we're going to do with that. So I'm going to bypass that and then move over towards the balcony. So this is the main balcony for the room. It gets tremendous amount of light. These shutters these are not originals. These were just put in, I think, a couple of years ago, maybe last year. So these are not from the historic piece of the house, but they are very nice. They're very high quality. I may change the color. I like that everything else, I'd like to keep them the same color. They're gold. Everything else is, I think, black or dark green. Maybe it's dark green. Can't remember. Anyway, we may be looking at that, but they are really nice. The main thing for this part of there is it needs to be cleaned. There's a lot of junk out there. I'm planning to DIY that. I have to figure out where the dump is to clean that out. So when I'm there in January, I am going to be cleaning that up. And then later on, I plan on, it needs a good power wash too, but I also plan on repainting all of the railing. It's iron, so probably just repainting it white again. Probably one of the bigger things that I'm going to be doing in this room for the remodel is changing what is currently the kitchen storage. I'm going to turn this into probably I'm going to call it a bookcase slash nook with some collectibles and stuff. I have a whole bunch of trophies from my dogs that I want to probably put up there. I have some original books that I'd like to keep. I have the original versions, original the Black Stallion series. So I'd like to put some of that kind of stuff in there. Also going to put a chair and probably a table over in that area just to define it, because right now it's just, again, I want this to be a room as well. Obviously, on that back wall, that will be where we're putting our couch. But again, the problem with this room is that there really is only one true wall that's really usable. And that's, again, I want to make sure that we add some interest in this room. There's not a lot to do structurally to it, which is nice. Going to paint it probably. I'm thinking the whole house is probably going to be repainted some kind of cream off white to go with it, and then obviously I think I'm going to put in a new light. I do kind of like the light that's here. I don't know how old it is. I hate getting rid of things that I may want to use. So I may use it in a different room. I'm probably going to be spending a little bit of money. I did find a light I loved, but it was 25,000 euros. So unless somebody wants to donate it to me, it's probably not going to happen. Looking at something, probably a more modern light for in there, and then keeping everything else semi-traditional. We're going to be adding on that back, on the wall where the staircase is. I'm going to be adding a bookcase and probably a television in between. It's about 200 centimeters. I want to do that simply because, again, I just need to add something to this so it doesn't look like a big long hallway. We are going to be, this couch that I purchased for it, I will place a picture in of it, custom made. I was looking at something a little bit more modern, which I really liked. But then in the end, as I was thinking about it, I'm not going to be using it. Steve's going to probably be sitting on it a lot more than I am. I wanted something a little bit more comfortable in there. And while the modern looked great, I just felt like maybe I needed to go a little bit traditional. The rest of the room, I'm planning on hopefully going to they have some furniture markets once a month. I'm going to be looking for stuff that is more traditional, probably something restored, or, I want to bring in a lot of wood in here. This is one room that we do get to change the floor. The flooring, the terrazzo, is just not salvageable. I don't particularly love terrazzo, so I wasn't too terribly hating about that. I do hate losing the historical of it, but we just can't save it. So I'm looking at probably something, hopefully when I'm there in January and I can bring you guys along. There's a couple of stonemasons there that I really want to use some of the more traditional things that are coming from Puglia, coming from Ostuni. So this room is probably going to be, a lot of it is going to be in that tan neutral. Going to be bringing in some like the olive color. I want to use walnut as well in here. Just make it kind of warm and welcoming, but also make it into an actual room. So we'll probably have a larger couch. The couch is going to be in there, and then obviously I'm going to do it like a chair with a table right in front of the bookcase. Again, not too much is going to be done in here structurally. Not that we can change a lot of structural anyway, because it's stone. So anytime you're doing that makes it a little hard. But I really want to make this room something a little bit welcoming for everybody. And also, it's kind of the stage of where everything else is coming from. Now we're moving on to the bathroom downstairs. So this is going to be the main bathroom for the house, the bathroom that will be used by us and any guests that are staying. A little bit different than what you're used to in the United States, which is large bathrooms. Fun fact, this originally was a bathroom and then was made into a kitchen, I think they said a few decades ago. And then they moved the kitchen upstairs and they just kind of didn't use it after that. So we are going to be taking everything out of here. They did leave some cabinets, so those are all going to be leaving, and we're going to be starting. It's about, just for the Americans, it's about 5.5 by 6. It's not going to be big. The other bathroom is pretty much the same. The one thing I'm going to be doing different in this one is I'm not going to be putting a bidet in hopes of getting a little bit more room. We are hoping for having a shower that goes all the way across the room. So it'll be from one side to the other and be on that back wall. It could also be in front of the window. We talked to Pietro about it a little bit. He said it probably can go either way. So I'm not really sure what we're going to do, but I'm hoping to squeeze as big of a shower as possible in there. No, there is no room for a bathtub. There are going to be no bathtubs in this house. So we're hoping to squeeze in a larger shower and then have just a sink and a toilet. Fun fact for Italy, you have to have one bidet in a house. We're going to be putting that in the secondary bedroom, the ensuite. We're going to be keeping the bidet because it's already there. So we're just going to be doing kind of like a swap out in there. But in this one, I'm going to be just using a toilet. Hopefully this way we can have a little bit more counter space. Again, I'm not really sure. This is one of the rooms I'm really interested in getting information from some of the contractors of how we can do this. These guys really know how to put a lot in a small space. The plan is to hopefully get some tile that looks older. Both of the bathrooms, they took the original tile out, which kind of makes me sad. So I'm going to be looking for tile that actually looks like it's 200 years old. I can't use the same tile. The cost for cement tiles that are hand painted, like in the bedrooms, the cost is, I'd need to be a billionaire. It's very, very expensive. So I'm going to be looking for tile that just looks like it's been there for a long time. Again, probably sticking with, a lot of stone. I want this to look like it's not a new bathroom. I want it to look like it's been here for a while, other than obviously the shower, because they didn't have showers like that. But hoping to get as big a shower as possible in here. We're going to be using the heated wall-mounted steel thing, like a radiator, for in here, for the heating part. Like I said, we're just not sure where we're going to place things, but it's going to be small. I'm trying to figure out as much storage space as possible. This is going to be a reoccurring theme in everything I talk about. Unlike the United States, there is no storage. I don't have a 3-car garage I can dump things in. You're not going to have a lot of closet space. Even to the point I mentioned in the first part, where there is that little niche, but right now the boiler isn't. I think it's the boiler that's in there or something. Any piece of space that we can get, we're going to try to keep. So we're going to try to find as much places for storage as possible without it looking overdone. But I actually am really excited about this room because it's so pretty. Okay, so now we're on to bedroom 2, as well as the bathroom that's in there. And I did get some questions from people, because usually you would have a bedroom with the ensuite as the primary bedroom, not the secondary bedroom. And even Steve was kind of like, why are we doing it this way? Until he came to the house. And one of the things, the blessing and the curse is it has a bathroom in the bedroom, which is very convenient. But the problem is that that took up so much space in this room. And so we're still going to be able to get like a quasi queen king size bed in here, but the ability to have any other storage was going to be compromised from this. So we have decided that this is going to be our guest bedroom. Again, the reoccurring is storage, storage, storage. As you're looking at this video, you're seeing there's no walk-in closet here. There's nothing like that in here. So everything has to be either you get a wardrobe or under the bed storage. Little helpful hint, I already ordered our bed for this room. And actually, right here is a prototype of it, not the exact one, but this is what it's going to look like. And it does have storage underneath it. So you can lift up the mattress and you can put storage in there. So that will be for probably for like linens and things like that. Also, for any clothes or blankets and things like that. I know a lot of people in Italy, what they do is in these storage areas, they put the seasonal wear that is out. So, like their sweaters and stuff will be in there. So, we will be able to put a little bit of storage right there. Again, there's just not a lot of space in here. And so that's why we've chosen to actually use this instead as a secondary bedroom. But like I said, we're going to do the same thing. It's going to still be. We're going to get rid of the yellow. The yellow is just a lot for me. I'm just not a big yellow fan. We're going to get it back to more of those off-white creams. So this is also going to be painted. Putting in a new light in here. And then when you go over to the bathroom, we're going to be, I'm calling it kind of, because I'm a techie kind of person, kind of a find and replace. We're not going to be doing a lot of changes in here other than updating everything. Going to be putting in a corner bathtub. I'm sorry, corner shower. I wish I could have a bathtub. This will have the bidet, so this will make us legal. So we're going to just, like I said, it's going to be just a swap out. Over in the corner, there's a one corner that right now is not really being used. I think I'm going to be putting some storage in there. There's not going to be a ton, but there should be at least some room to put, extra towels, things like that in there. We're going to be doing the same thing as in the other bathroom, putting in tile that looks more like it's older than what it is. That beautiful exhaust is going to be moving as well. So there's not anything really structural going on in here. It's just mostly fixing the stuff up that we already have. But it's really a cool room, and I love the balcony and stuff. So we do have a lot of natural light. I think that when people stay here, they're going to like it. Like I said, I just ordered the bed. One of the things I'm loving in this is that pretty much everything that we're buying is being custom made for us. And so I'm really excited about that. I think this is what I want to make sure is that this room is very, very authentic. Again, we're going to be looking at the creams, that walnut color, stuff like that. Just really excited. And again, these floors are going to stay. There are a couple of tiles that need to be fixed that I'm learning how to do. I'm hoping that I can fix them myself. There are some cracks and stuff, but we are keeping these floors. These cement tiles are fabulous. So very excited about this. Now we get to my favorite room in the downstairs, which is the primary bedroom. As we talked about, I picked this room for us basically because it's the biggest, and it also is going to allow me to work the house the best way possible, aka I can put a large wardrobe in for all of our clothes. That was one of the things I wanted. The other thing is that the Aussies sleep with us, so we need room for them to be able to sleep as well. So I'm not going to go into as much detail in this room because it kind of sounds like it seems like Groundhog's Day. New light, obviously, again, we're going to put in new paint. And this room does have a window that's broken. And so I need to fix that, which will be one of the first things we do. Again, the doors are all original. So we're going to I'm going to clean up everything there and kind of shine them up there a little bit. They need a little bit of work. But what we're really going to do is we're putting in, once again, a bed with storage. This room is so big that we're able to put what they call a super king in it. It's 20 centimeters by 20 centimeters, so it's actually really big. We're going to be putting that in. It'll also have storage underneath it, which is great. The bed itself, it reminds me a lot. It kind of matches the same aesthetic of the couch that we're putting in the living room. Hopefully that they're gonna, push off each other. We've kind of gone really neutral again on all of our main furniture, so that then we can do the pops of color on, the sheets, the duvet cover, that kind of stuff. That's where we're going to add in our colors. I'm hoping that the wardrobe we get can be walnut. I really love the color of walnut. So this is just going to using this room for us is going to really give us that space that we need And it's almost the size of a small US bedroom, which is kind of nice. Again, we don't have a walk-in closet. So, one of the things I'm doing now is like purging clothes. One of the things that I love about Italians is that they don't have as many clothes, but the clothes they have are impeccably tailored. So that's one of the things that I've been doing here is, instead of having, 20 sweaters, maybe I only need 3 or 4 and get a higher quality, something that's really going to last. I see that a lot in Italy. It's even when you go to their stores, you just look at the tailoring of their clothes and they're just amazing. Anyway, I digress. But as I said, the floors are staying the same. We need a new light. That kind of stuff needs to be done. I may or may not change anything, shutter color wise. The biggest thing I'm going to need to do immediately is to clean the balcony. The balcony is really gross. It's even grosser than in these pictures now. So that's one of the big things I'm going to be doing. Things that I don't have to pay someone to do, I would like to get done because that's how I can save money. But I am really excited about this bedroom. And I hope everybody enjoyed the little tour. Next week, we'll go over the upstairs, the second floor. And I do think I'm going to do a third episode where I talk about the laundry room and the hallways because I do have some ideas around there. Well, that's it for this episode of Restoring-Ostuni. Thanks for joining me on this wild pulley adventure, the dust, the discoveries, and everything in between. If you're loving the journey, hit subscribe, leave a review, and share it with a friend dreaming of their own Italian escape. Until next time, arrivederci.